Like most demons, Choronzon is thought to be an immortal creature. Yet he wasn't described in writing until the 16th century. This first account came from English mathematician, alchemist, and occult philosopher John Dee, and English occultist and spirit medium Edward Kelly, in a discussion of the angelic tongue, the language of the angels, today referred to as Enochian. The pair supposedly summoned the archangel Gabriel to answer their questions. When asked if anyone in the world still spoke angelic, Gabriel apparently told them that Choronzon envied God's newest creation, man. So just like the serpent in the book of Genesis, the demon worked to drive Adam from the Garden of Eden and into the world, where Adam lost both his innocence and his ability to speak angelic. But being synonymous with the infamous snake in the first book of the Bible wasn't enough for Choronzon. Some followers of the Jewish mystic discipline, Kabbalah, believe they have an insight into the demon's true nature. Using a gematria system to interpret Hebrew scriptures by assigning numerical values to words, they discovered that Choronzon's name bears the value of 333. They believe that this number, exactly half of the number of the beast, 666, as described in Revelations 13:18, gives Choronzon significance as an aspect of Satan. Choronzon's symbols based on this depiction of 333, illustrated as three triangles, which are of course three-sided, radiating from a central point. The symbol has found its way into pop culture works and fiction, and a similar symbol still gets used today to label radioactive materials. But Choronzon is most often associated with the social and religious movement known as Thelema, developed by English mystic and magician Aleister Crowley in the early 1900s. Choronzon reserved his place in the movement by being summoned and battled by Crowley in a dangerous magic ritual in 1909. Thelema blends Egyptian mysticism, Buddhism, and magic into a spiritual philosophy, espousing that there is no God but man. It also employs Crowley's so-called supreme moral code. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Adherents seek to follow their true wills with the ritual practice of magic, and often sex magic, at the core of the system. To Thelemites, the demon Choronzon is the first and deadliest of all the powers of evil because he is the metaphysical contrary to the whole process of magic. Within Thelema, Choronzon is referred to as the dweller in the abyss. He functions as the sole inhabitant of the chasm demon magicians must cross to attain ultimate knowledge. Those prepared to meet Choronzon must also be capable of abandoning their ego if they are to move beyond the abyss. Doing so grant them the title of Master of the Temple. But those who are not up to the task will find themselves laid waste and subject to spiritual annihilation. Aleister Crowley claims to have met this challenge and won. By Crowley's account, the magic ritual to summon and face down Choronzon occurred on December 6, 1909, in Lusada, Algeria. Crowley didn't come alone. Working with him was longtime associate Victor Benjamin Newberg. Crowley took on the submissive role in order to abandon and thus conquer his ego. He then invoked Choronzon by slipping into a trance. The demon did not disappoint, and upon making his presence known, Crowley next began reciting the Call of the Aether. The call is part of Enochian magic, a system of ceremonial magic based on the 16th century writings of John Dee and Edward Kelly, Choronzon's first known summoners. Apparently, the magic worked. Crowley claims that Choronzon was now bound within a triangle surrounded by two magical barrier circles. The magician then entered the Solomonic Triangle and began a lengthy debate and struggle with the demon. At this point, both Crowley and Newberg described Choronzon as changing shape, shifting into the form of an old man, a serpent, and finally into Crowley's own likeness. This detail may be telling, as Choronzon was often noted for taking on the likeness of someone his summoner may consider provocative or even alluring. The demon also supposedly took on the form of a French female escort known to Crowley's companion, Newberg, in order to seduce him. Reportedly, the creature's attempts to entrance Newberg failed, as he refused to free the beast bound by the triangle. After a lengthy back and forth, Crowley was finally triumphant, writing the name Babylon in the sand with his holy ring to signify that he had now overcome Choronzon. This victory would prove to be significant in Crowley's later development of his Thelemic belief system. In a few short years, the magician would claim to have received the supreme moral law of Thelema from Aiwass, the messenger of the Egyptian god Horus. This honor was only possible for Crowley because of his defeat of Choronzon and subsequent achievement of ultimate enlightenment. But while Crowley claimed to have bested the demon, Choronzon was never far from his thoughts. Crowley would often write and speak of the entity he called the Dweller in the Abyss, once stating that the demon was not unlike the abyss he inhabits, a void with no true form of his own. He exclaimed that the demon was not really an individual, even going so far as to call Karanzan empty of being. Instead, Crowley believed the demon to be composed only of possible but unrealized forms with the raging desire to make themselves real. This informed Crowley's belief that Karanzan's function rendered it the diametric opposite of occult magic. Karanzan was, to Crowley, anti-magic, anti-matter, and anti-life, an empty vessel presenting itself as attractive and substantive, or even a spirit guide to enlightenment. But it was all smoke and mirrors. For Crowley, the demon he met and bested was an all-encompassing detrimental force, only seeking to disperse and dissolve anything physical, mental, or spiritual. Wholly insatiable and forever empty, no matter how much it consumed. A black hole with an eating disorder. Crowley's Karanzan despises order, rational thought, and piety. He is also the root of impotence, infirmity, and decay in the body. In the mind, he was to blame for confusion and irrational thinking. But most devastating is that Karanzan festered darkness and despair in the human soul itself. But luckily, Crowley had